Hi guys, James at Rampant Lion Reviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to stick to Sweden, but we're going to head a little bit north for this review once again. This time we're going to go to Värmland County and we're going back to the city of Karlstad, which is home to a good few breweries these days. But for this review we're going to return to a brewery that I only introduced you to for the first time very recently, but these guys are getting a lot of plaudits for their hazy New England IPAs actually, and I was impressed with the first one that I tried from these guys. So this is review number 2 from this brewery. For this one then, like I said, we are going to go to Karlstad and we're having a look at another beer from 10 Hands Brewing. This one is the Geothermal. This time it's a double New England IPA and it's double dry hopped as well, and it comes in at 8% ABV. This one was released as part of the Lokal Småskaligt assortment in Systembolaget on the 1st of August 2020. So yeah, really curious to see how this one turns out. The last beer and the first beer that I had from these guys was the Dragonfly. I was really impressed with that. That one was about a kind of 7%er if I remember rightly, but really nicely done beer, and hopefully this one kind of follows on from that a little bit. So we are trying something a little bit stronger for this one. As far as I've seen, these guys only do the hazy New England IPA, so I guess they're kind of doing something similar to what Apex are doing. But yeah, a very popular beer style at the moment, and these guys seem to be a very capable brewer in that regard. But hopefully they do try a few more different styles over time as well actually. But yeah, nice to return to this brewery, and hopefully it's another interesting beer. I think if you're into your hazy IPAs, this is definitely a Swedish brewery that you want to keep an eye on. But yeah, let's see how we get on with this one then. So as always with my reviews, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery before we taste the beer. If you want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery website, the link to my other reviews that I've done from 10 Hands Brewing before, and you will see more from these guys in the near future. I do have September's release to have a look at for you on the channel, so keep your eyes open for that. But there's all the usual social media down there as well. If you want to see more reviews, do please consider subscribing to the channel. The whole channel of course has a geography based tagging system, so you can go into the home page and search for beer based on country, city, state, county, province, prefecture, whatever it is you're interested in. Do check out the playlist of beers from different countries. There is one there for all the Swedish beers that I've reviewed for you. That's constantly being added to, and as always, please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries that you guys would like to see me review. It's always great to hear from you guys that are watching the videos, and the support that you show the channel is hugely appreciated. So anyway, to tell you a little bit about 10 Hands Brewing then, on to my brewery notes. So as I've told you before, 10 Hands Brewing are based in Karlstad, which is on the banks of Vänern, one of the Great Lakes of Sweden, in Värmland County, kind of to the northeastish, I guess you could say, of Gothenburg. But the company was founded by a group of friends. So the 5 friends involved here are Robert Hedl, Johan Eklund, Fredrik Steen, Göran Larsson and Jan Karlsson, and all of these guys own 20%, 1/5 of the company, and it was founded back officially in November of 2018. So all of them have a little bit of brewing experience, but it's Johan Eklund who is the main brewer. They released their first beers in March of 2019. The very first one that they did was an IPA called Firstborn. I need to check if that one is still available, because it would be cool to review that one for you. But that year, in 2019, they produced around 20,000 litres of beer. They started releasing their beers through Systembolaget, I believe, in July of 2020. I think the Dragonfly that I reviewed for you before was one of the first ones that they released through Systembolaget. And as of September 2020, when I'm filming this review for you, these guys have produced 25 different kinds of beer. As far as I could see, all of them were kind of hazy New England IPAs, and yeah, they have been getting a lot of plaudits from different beer critics and things like that over the last couple of months and things. And as I say, the first beer I tried from them I was pretty impressed with, so hopefully this is one that follows suit. But yeah, this beer isn't only brewed, it hasn't just been brewed for this release in Systembolaget, but it has been available in different bars and things around the Karlstad area from what I understand. But yeah, the name of the brewery, it comes from the fact there's 5 owners, so 10 hands in the company. And yeah, as I say, it'll be interesting to see how these guys progress over the next while, sorry, and yeah, we'll keep an eye on them. As I say, I enjoyed my first beer from them, and hopefully this one follows suit. But yeah, so if you want to learn more about this brewery, you can check out the brewery website. You can follow them on Facebook and Instagram to keep up to date with all the latest goings on, and you can of course check out the Rate Beer, Untappd and Beer Advocate pages to learn more about all the different beers that these guys have done. So yeah, let's get on and have a little look at the artwork then, and then we can have a taste of it. So as you can see, the artwork on this one is once again very nice. The Dragonfly artwork I have to say, I have to admit, was really, really good as well. There you can see the 10 Hands Brewing symbol there. It looks a little bit like Yevo. I think I said this in the last video as well, Yevo from the Beast with a Billion Backs, one of the Futurama movies. But yeah, the artwork, I have to say, is really nice. A very, very unique style actually. Does it have the artist's signature on it somewhere? No, it doesn't. I guess it's maybe one of the owners that actually designs it there. But yeah, this one, double dry hops, double New England IPA, 8% ABV, and this one was released as part of the Lokalis Moskalid on the 1st of August 2020. The hops in this one apparently are Citra and Idaho 7. 330ml can. Let's get it out into the glass and see how we get on then. Yeah, this should be pretty nice actually. I can tell you something, the aroma of this beer is really good. It's very nice. Sugar up the last little bit and just make sure we get everything into the glass there. So yeah, look at that. No sediment left on the bottom too. It's always what you want with the New Englands. But yeah, this one should be pretty cool. So as you can see, and as you would expect, this beer is poured a lovely kind of big bright yellow. It looks just like a kind of mango juice colour or something like that. There's a good degree of haze to this one, which is what you would expect when it's about 8% on the alcohol scale. As you go up the scale with the New Englands, they're going to get progressively more hazy with more oats and wheat and things like that in them. But yeah, this one looks pretty damn nice actually. So when it poured, I had about a quarter finger of a frothy white head on this one. I think it was white rather than just creamy. That's fading away to be a very, very thin foamy layer. As I say, one or two big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass, and a few little ones going up towards the bottom of that head there. But yeah, it looks really, really nice actually. So yeah, pretty cool, I have to say. So yeah, let's have a look at the aroma then and see how we get on. Nothing overly surprising, or nothing really surprising at all about this beer in terms of appearance when you consider what style it is. But yeah, let's have a look at the aroma and see how we go. That does smell pretty nice. So yeah, straight away with this one, you can smell that lovely big kind of oaty, wheaty character coming out of it. For me, this one's got a lovely kind of, it does have a bit of bitiness to the wheat, but I find it to be really quite smooth. I think this beer is leaning a little bit more towards the kind of oaty side of things in terms of the malt base, but it does have, there is just a little bit of that kind of brown sugary type note coming out of this beer. You do get a little bit of an almost kind of Werther's originally type aroma coming out of the malt base of this one as well. I've noticed that with quite a few breweries recently. I think they have been adding a little bit of, you know, like Carapils or Cara Munich or something into these beers, just to give them just a little touch of brown sugar. And it's something I do think you need when you start to get above the 8% mark with the New Englands. I think you do need just a little touch of sweetness in there to kind of get it going, if you like. But yeah, the aroma out of this one, I think, is very, very nice on the malty side of things. Good little bit of brown sugar, good little bit of everything else going on in there as well. But yeah, I like the aroma of that. But yeah, on the hoppy side of things, it's got a good little bit of stuff going on as well. You get a little bit of earthiness out of it, you get some nice big floral aromaticity to it as well, a bit of lighter grassiness. I would say that on the green side of things, the beer does lean a little bit more towards that kind of floral aromatic end of the spectrum, but the more you kind of smell it, the more kind of grassy and fruity it gets. I like how everything goes together in that, like I said. So yeah, the aroma of this one, I think, is pretty interesting. So yeah, this one is pretty damn cool actually. So yeah, I like that. So yeah, on the fruity side of things, this one, you really get a good bit of booziness out of this as well. When it's an 8% New England double, you do want to know that it's a double IPA. Some of them, such as the Dugas ones, they can be ridiculously drinkable, and those are really good beers, but you do want to know if it's a double IPA you're going for, you do want to know that it's a double IPA, I think. But yeah, on the fruity side of things, if you know these hops, it is kind of what you would expect. You've got a little bit of the stronger passion fruit in there, which will come from the Citra, I would think. Then you've got a whole host of softer tropical fruits in there. You've got a bit of mango. There's a bit of a kind of, there is a lot of pineapple in this one for me. I do get quite a bit of pineapple out of it, and underneath that you get some of the softer kind of papayas and stuff as well. Yeah, I get a lot of pineapple out of this one, to be quite honest with you. Really at the front of the nose, yeah, lots of juicy pineapple. Behind that though, you do get a bit of that stronger passion fruity note coming out of the beer. There's a little bit of a kind of I do get a little bit of a lemony zestiness to the grassy qualities that the beer has. But yeah, for me mainly mango, bit of stronger passion fruit, and then it's quite pineapple-y under that. There is a bit of softer papaya, like I said. So yeah, the aroma of this one is kind of interesting. It is pretty straight up actually. I mean, it's only 2 hops that are in this. So yeah, Citra is one that we know quite well. Idaho 7 is one that's really kind of gaining in popularity. It's lovely and soft, and it gives you a lot of lovely kind of soft tropical fruits actually. But if you use it as an early addition hop, then it will give you quite a bit of bitterness actually as well. We saw that recently with the 100 Idaho 7 that was released from OO Brewing this month. So yeah, Idaho 7 is a hop that I am becoming progressively more familiar with, but I like it. I do like the kind of softer tropical fruits that it has, particularly the pineapple-y element. But yeah, take a bit of time and enjoy the aroma of the beer before you get stuck into it. This one's a pretty straight shooter, I think, but do check that out before you have a taste of the beer. It's always half the experience when it comes to craft beer. But let's have a taste of this one then. This one is the Geothermal, a double dry hopped 8% New England IPA from 10 Hands Brewing in Karlstad in Värmland County here in Sweden. Let's get stuck in. Slanche skål. Yeah, that's pretty damn nice actually. I'm just getting this, I think I am just getting this in really good condition. I've always felt with the double dry hopped, with the New Englands, you do need to leave them in the can a little bit, I think, to mellow out. But at the same time, with the double dry hopping, you also need to let it mellow out a bit, because if you drink these like really fresh, they just feel quite green. I think they do need at least kind of 10 days and stuff in the can to just kind of mellow out a little bit, and then for me, 10 days or so in the can is really when they are kind of in their prime, I think. But this one is in a really, I think this one will be a bit older than that actually, but it's in pretty damn solid condition, I have to say. I'm reviewing this one for you at the very start of September. But yeah, that's another really very solid IPA from these guys. I do remember the other one being quite slick and quite juicy, and this one really strikes me in that regard as well, but you do get a bit more booziness out of it, in which, you know, at 8% that is what you would expect. But yeah, let's try and break this down then. Let's try and see where we go with this. So yeah, straight away across the middle of the palate you get a nice little bit of kind of white bready quality that just blankets the middle of your tongue there. If you go towards the back third of your tongue, there's a nice the back third of your tongue is a little bit more kind of wheaty, and it feels a little bit thicker on the bready notes. It almost feels a little bit kind of oily in a way as well, which is kind of interesting. So yeah, you do get a bit of the bite of your wheat towards the back of your palate, but it does come across as quite smooth in some ways too. As you move further forward into the middle third of your palate, there is a wee bit of a lighter, you do get a little bit of a lighter kind of pale malty quality in there, and as you move towards the front half of that middle third of your tongue, it's got a nice kind of oaty, creamy quality to it as well. Yeah, I do like how this. I really do like how this goes together. Actually, it's solidly done. So yeah, the malt base, it's kind of as you would expect for the style, but there's nothing surprising if you know this style quite well. A lot of people, as I say, know this style and like this style well these days. So you know, to survive as a brewery like this, you've got to be able to do this style well, or even to make yourself stand out, you have to be able to do these styles well. And 10 Hands, you know, these beers are really damn solid actually. And it's the mouthfeel, I think, that really sets these ones apart. I've found their beers, they've got a wetness to them, but they've also got quite a nice slickness at them as well at the same time. But yeah, in the middle of the palate too, you will notice that kind of Werther's Originally type brown sugary note that's kind of sitting there in the middle of the palate, and it kind of sits there, but then it also puts a kind of slightly oily layer over the wheaty part of the beer on the back third of your tongue. And I do like how that all goes together. So So yeah, I really like how that side of the beer fits together. The malt base is pretty straight up, but it's well done. I think that's a good way to describe it actually. So the hoppy side of things, back corners of the palate, you get a nice, there is a wee bit of earthiness out of this one, but as you come further forward along the sides of the tongue, it very quickly becomes a little bit more kind of floral and aromatic. There is a little touch of spiciness to it, but it really leans more towards that kind of bright floral aromaticity. But then round the front curve of the palate, the beer is just a little bit lighter. The beer is just a little bit more kind of light, and I would say, yeah, it is just a little bit lighter and kind of and more grassy in a sense. You do get a little bit of a kind of you do get a little bit of a kind of lemony zesty type thing out of it, but I like that about it, I have to say. Yeah, the fruity side of this beer again is really nicely done. I think I said the same about this last time. For as I always say, the front third of your palate is where you get that nice oily bubble, where the juicy fruity esters just roll their way out of the beer. So if you move towards the kind of back, if you move towards the back of that front third of your tongue, you will get a wee bit of the stronger passion fruit there, but very quickly that gives way to a more kind of juicy, mango-y quality, and then as you move further forward from that, you get the lighter kind of fruits out of this one. For me, this one comes across as quite pineapple-y. I think there is a wee bit of a kind of papaya note underneath that as well. So yeah, it's I think the Idaho 7, the citra in this one, it's really a softer mango you get out of the citra in this beer, which is quite interesting. It must be the kind of cryo citra, because there is cryo citra in this one. It must be that that's making it feel a little bit softer, but with the Idaho 7, on the front half of that front third of your tongue, you really get those softer tropical notes, a bit of papaya, a little bit of kind of pineapple, and all of these kind of things. So I really like how that side of things goes together actually in this beer. So yeah, it's really solid in that regard. But yeah, as you move towards the very kind of front edge of your tongue, the beer does get a little bit more kind of lemony and zesty actually. So yeah, I like it. Does get a little bit. That'll be the citra that's really giving you that. Citra can give you a little bit of a lemon limey quality. So yeah, on the very kind of front tip of your tongue, on the grassy side of things, it does have just a wee bit of a zesty quality. Not too strong, I have to say. The front of your tongue really is more about the kind of pineapple and the sort of papaya type flavours from the Idaho 7. But yeah, more mango-y towards the back of that front third of your tongue, I think it's fair to say. The fruits do come across as quite kind of slick. So I'd say the whole that's the thing that really sets the 10 Hands beers apart for me, is the kind of slickness in the mouthfeel that they have. But this is another really solid example of a New England IPA from these guys. Yeah, granted this one's a little bit stronger, and it's a little bit more kind of, it does have a wee bit of that more of that kind of Werther's originally type flavour in it, which I do like. So yeah, this one does get a thumbs up from me once again. I like this one. Let's have a little look at the mouthfeel quickly before we kind of round off the review. So yeah, I think it's fair to say this beer is kind of, it's mid-bodied, but I think more towards the top end of mid-bodied. Carbonation's very smooth. I find that it's got quite an oily and slick mouthfeel, as I've said a few times in the video. This one's got a bit of a higher bitterness to it actually. I think this one's maybe sitting around the 50 IBU mark, possibly a little bit more than that. As I say, my kind of mouth wants me to say about 50. You do get a nice little bit of bitterness from the floral side of things on the palate there, but nowhere near as bitter as the old West Coast IPAs, where this one is a little bit more. Yeah, I think this one must be about 50. Come to think of it, so yeah, I would stick with that 50 IBUs. The malt base, like I say, it's got a lovely smoothness to it. It does feel quite slick at the same time. There's a slight degree of sweetness to it, and you've got some lovely kind of nice little fruity characters to it as well. So yeah, it's a really nicely done beer, this one. I mean, this is a style that I've had a hell of a lot of examples of recently. You know, you've got some very, very capable New England breweries here in Sweden. Apex, you know, OO, Spike, Stigbergets, Brewski. You know, there's so many breweries producing these New England IPAs. You've got to kind of stand out in some way to make yourself be noticed as a New England brewery these days. And I think, yeah, 10 Hands, for me, it's the mouthfeel. I think it's the mouthfeel that sets these beers apart a little bit. But they are very, very solid. in this category in my mind. So yeah, I think this is a brewery that you will be hearing a little bit more about over the coming years and things. But I do hope that they try other styles as well, because that's one thing that Apex have never really done. They've, pardon me, never really gone on and tried different styles. So I do hope that 10 Hands will have a go at some like West Coast IPAs, some black IPAs, and you know, some stouts and things like that. I do hope that they don't just stick to only doing the IPAs, but that seems to be what they're good at for the moment. Hopefully they use that to build a bit of momentum, and then they start experimenting a little bit more. But yeah, another very nice New England IPA from these guys. If you're into this style, as a lot of people are these days, I think you will enjoy this one, and I'm curious to see what their next one actually has in store for us. Like I said, I do have the September beer waiting to be reviewed as well, so or it will come later. But yeah, we'll see how that one turns out as well. But yeah, this one was the Geothermal, a double dry hop, double New England IPA from 10 Hands Brewing in Karlstad in Värmland County here in Sweden. Another really nice beer from these guys, and this is a brewery that I do recommend you check out. Thank you again for watching my reviews. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Let me know your own thoughts on this beer in the comments section below. Let me know what your favourite beers are from 10 Hands Brewing. We will return to these guys at some point in the near future. You will see another review next month, and we probably will visit these guys fairly regularly over the next couple of years. Thank you again for watching. I'll catch you guys later. The Geothermal, an 8% New England double dry hopped double IPA from 10 Hands Brewing in Karlstad, Värmland here in Sweden. Slange, skål, cheers, make sure you check out this brewery.